For more than 8 decades, the largest number of musicians in Uganda have been primarily earning off live music shows or concerts, as opposed to royalties, the earnings that come from using an artist's musical work in any value chain that requires it. However, it took the 2020 COVID-19 lockdowns for most musicians to acknowledge the value of an organized policy-led music industry.
This entire situation has been a wake-up call for musicians because things like streaming, the whole music business in general, is something we had ignored. There are so many artists who didn't have that knowledge, who didn't know, how do I get my music on these platforms, or if it's there, how do I earn?
In Uganda, the Uganda Communications Commission and the Uganda Registration Services Bureau are the main policy stakeholders responsible for enforcing the copyright law. But to what extent is it applicable to the music industry today?
The principle of copyright and content is that you cannot use content without getting authorization from the owner. Okay, that is just the basic principle. And once that is not respected, then you go into the realm of copyright infringement, which will require the legal system to come after you. Okay, so the first thing is that before you use any content, there has to be authorization from the content owner.
The value chain in the music industry starts from the composition of the lyrics and the melodies of a song by the writer. It is then produced in the studio by a producer. At this stage, all parties must agree on who owns the song. Thereafter, the owner ought to copyright the song at the URSB before handing it over to any distributor or broadcaster. This ensures that they have full economic rights of the song.
The whole system of copyright ends up in money. It's commerce. Copyright is an economic law. It is not really so much of an ownership law. Ownership is a means to an end, to that end, that these people have to make money. Okay, that is what we are looking at. That is what the economy looks at. That is what the whole framers of the copyright doctrine look at, that we are all looking at money somewhere.
To earn money off a copyrighted song, an artist must be registered with a licensed collective management organization that is responsible for collecting musicians' revenue from all parties that use this music commercially.
Imagine that somebody who has over 100 songs. How do you monitor the usage and how do you collect usage from that? So our role as UPRS is to go out there and represent the artists and collect from commercial users and put that money in a kitty, and then we distribute to them, the artists, the owners of the works, every so often.
Broadcast houses, the largest consumers of audiovisual musical works, have to a greater extent been faulted for undermining the copyright law and being the biggest blockade to enforcing revenue collection.
Nowadays things have changed. You go to radio stations, you go to TV stations, wherever you meet, at least they want kitu kidogo, something small. You need to put something there.
There is a time came where we had actually determined the tariffs. The tariffs, to say that these are the tariffs to be paid. And those tariffs, together with the collective management organization, they were supposed to be channeled through the collective management organization, and it was supposed to distribute them. But I think there is still a failure in broadcasters that they are helping. There is that sense, you know.
In 2019, UCC set out to enforce on broadcasters a 70% local content quota, which saw more Ugandan musical content on both radio and television. However, did this mean more revenue for local musicians? In the next part series of this story, we delve deeper into how the 2006 copyright and neighboring rights law can be used by artists to grow professionally. Wadulo Mark Arnold, UBC News.